everybody hear me? Yes, okay, good. Yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about AI, but it's like real world. It's an experience report. So Marlon and I, we've been working on a team, and we're gonna give you an experience report on enhancing engineering workflows. So the first thing I wanna point out is this picture. Because it's an AI presentation, we decided we were gonna generate all of our images with AI. And it's not always easy, right? You know, you give it a prompt and you don't get the exact right thing you wanted. So this is actually what we wanted. We wanted a human and a friendly robot working together in peace and harmony. So I'm gonna start off by showing you the bloopers, the things that didn't go well. Usually you do the bloopers at the end, but we're gonna do them at the beginning. So this was one of the ones that didn't turn out so well. So again, we wanted a picture of humans and robots working together in peace and harmony. There might be something missing in this picture. Yes, no humans. But that's okay. We can try again, right? So again, no humans, fewer parts of robots. So we may be making progress, I'm not sure. So let's try one more time. Really having trouble with the humans part, and the red eyes, I think, are distinctively not friendly. So I heard somebody say once that if AI ever decides to get rid of humanity, it might be because that's what we've trained it on. You know, it's just movies, everything we're writing out there is not so friendly. So my ask for everybody is to get out there and fill the internet with friendly things, humans and robots. We really get along together, we like each other. So we can have that in our training corpus. So, okay. Right, so let's get back to the presentation now. Introduction, so we work for New, which is the world's largest digital banking platform outside of Asia, serving lots of people across Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. And within this huge organization, our team is the AI for developer productivity. So our purpose is to enhance the daily work lives of engineers using AI and large language models to leverage this productivity for engineers across the entire developer lifecycle. So what are we going to talk about? Marlon next is going to give us a super quick introduction on what exactly an LLM is, and then we're going to talk about how do we even know whether these things work well or not, specifically also for Clojure. And then how can we best use these LLMs, and can they even help us to think? And most importantly and excitingly, we're going to try to do a live demo. Lots of danger here. But I'm going to turn it over to Marlon.
Thank you, Carin. Thank you, everybody. I'm so glad to be here giving this talk to you. And let's go super quickly about LLMs, and let's try to define what are LLMs. And first, I would like to state what is not a LLM. And I can say that it's not a cold call to a magic black box. Because when we are interacting with these LLM models, we tend to interact as customers, and we get all the complexity abstracted away by a nice interface or by a nice endpoint. But when we are in the role to analyze this technology and bring it into business, we need to get deeper in the understanding of these models and handle with all the complexities about this knowledge. And to start thinking and start explaining a little bit about what is LLM, I would like to remind you about some grammar class from school. And we have this simple phrase, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. It's a very simple phrase, but if we start analyzing by applying the grammar rules, we can see a lot of roles being performed by these words. We have definite articles, we have adjectives, we have nouns, we have verbs, and we have preposition. And each one of these roles helps to build the meaning of this phrase, of this sentence. And each one relate to each other to build this meaning. For example, we have the noun fox, and we have a definite article that specifies a fox. We have the adjective that describes this noun, so the quick brown fox. We have the action here performed by the verb, jumps, and we have a connection of the action performed by the verb to the object. So the over is the preposition that connects the action with the object. And LLMs do basically that, but not applying grammar rules, but applying machine learning algorithms, complex machine learning algorithms, and they are using and trained on vast amount of data. So they can extract context and start to predict the next token. So we have here this very simple demo that I recorded. I don't know if you guys know about the Hugging Face website, where a lot of LLM models are hosted, and they have the spaces. There is where they deploy some LLM models to try out. In this example here, I'm using the right-way transformer space that uses the GPT-2 model, GPT-2 LLM model to predict the next word. So I started this by writing. Clojure is a lovely programming language that allows you to. And I will keep repeatedly ask the model to complete the next token. And the objective here is to form a full sentence based on the completion. And if we go to the end here, we have our sentence here. The Clojure is a lovely programming language that allows you to code a program in a pure functional style. The most notable characteristic of Clojure is its pure functional nature. So we have here a meaningful text, a meaningful sentence done by the LLM, and the context is based on what I start typing and the amount of data related to Clojure that was present on the training. So this is very, very interesting, and this is very powerful. And with that, we can start going to applying the next question. We start with the next question. Do they work well or not? And we have today a different a lot of LLM models, from public LLM models hosted on the Hugging Face, actually over 1 million models. And we have closed models that you guys may know, like OpenAI, Anthropic, and so on. And it's hard to start thinking, oh, where do I start? And how to choose the best LLM model for solving a business case, or to try to solve a problem that I have in mind. And the most important tip that I can give to you today is just start by playing with these LLM models for 50 minutes and try and see if they fit to your use cases. And I will start here and bring the example that we had at New Bank, that we started evaluating these LLM models to see how capable they are to produce Clojure code. Because we know that, oh, there is a lot of benchmarks out there stating very good results for Python, for JavaScript, for Java, and we would like to see, oh, how good it is, these LLM models, to generate Clojure LLM. And, well, it's a very complex process, and what works the best for us is to play first to see these LLM models. We select a few models, and we start thinking how we can further extend this assessment of these LLM models. And for that, we choose to use the multiple benchmarking tool. There is an open source benchmark that allows you to evaluate the LLM-generated code against a different set of language, for example, Ruby, Java, Python, and so on. But at that time, there is a problem. And there is one big benefit of this, this benchmark tool. We can choose the data sets that we will use to evaluate these LLM models. If you guys know a little bit about some data sets in machine learning, we have the human vol and the MBPP data set that allows you to prompt the LLM with some basic programming questions and see how good the code is generated by this LLM to solve these problems. These are very nice because we don't need to do that manually, and we can automate and leverage the process to benchmark these models. And here is an example, like we have a problem, unfortunately writing Python, and this the comments up there is the prompt that will be given to the LLM model. And we have a canonical implementation. And this part will be not sent to the LLM model, but we will use to test if the test case is valid. And we have the tests check to see if once we prompt the LLM with the input of the problem, we expect that the LLM will generate a code, and we will take this code and test it to see if this code is able to execute and attend our tests. But there is no Clojure support at that time. And well, it's a problem and make me feel very, very sad about it. But thanks to Alex Miller that is here, that do all the hard work to implement support for Clojure. We now have added support for the Clojure in the project, and now we can benchmark these LLM models also for Clojure code generation. And here we have a data set from one of the first runs that we did with this tool. And we could see that the Python and JavaScript at the time when GPT-4o was the biggest thing happening. And there is a little gap between these results. Like Clojure is slightly lower than the others, but over time we see this increasing. So we expect in the future that there is no difference between the generated code between Python, Clojure, or JavaScript, for example. And we are really, really excited about this. And the most part is open source. It's an open source project, and you guys, if you have the same use case that we had, you can use and right away generate Clojure code for evaluate these LLM models. And now I will pass back to Carin.
Thanks, Marlon. Yeah, so how do we best use these brand new spanking things, these LLMs? Well, collectively, we don't know. You know, we're all just trying to figure it out. We have no idea what it's going to be like 1 month from now, 3 months from now, and certainly not a year from now. Everything is moving so fast. But you know what? We can embrace this. We just don't know. So build flexible tools, embracing this fact that we don't know. This is what we found actually works well for our team. We try not to assume what engineers that are our customers are going to need in the future. So we design things to have a small, flexible, and extensible solution. A good example of this is a project that Marlon headed up, which was Roxy. And Roxy is a local proxy. Rhyming. But so why do we need a proxy? So we work in a regulated environment, and to be able to use LLMs, there's certain compliance that we need to take into account. So we have an internal platform that runs, that provides all those security and compliance regulations. So anytime our engineers want to access an LLM, we have to do that through this internal platform. So this is a proxy that allows our engineers to do that with all the right things. So we made a really simple, thin design, and people just started using it in all sorts of ways. Like if we had sat down ahead of time and planned out all the use cases, we would have never anticipated. So that approach worked really well for us. The other thing that worked really well for us is to create a community. I mean, communities are awesome. That's why we're all here. It's a gathering place to share the learnings. In our case, we run things called guilds, which are like internal community user groups. So we meet like on a bi-weekly basis and just share your experiences so we can share things that work, don't work, you know, community. So it worked out really well. So I encourage everybody to like create that space in your workplace as well. Yeah, so can LLMs help us think? Now this is kind of the opposite, because I know the typical reaction when people talk about LLMs is, oh great, I don't have to think anymore. You know, let me just make a call and I can figure out like where I can get my next, you know, burger and like what I should eat and like how I should do things. Like I don't need to think anymore. But I think that's exact opposite. We can actually use LLMs to increase our thinking, to make it better. So we can do this by a few different methods, and that our teams played with as well, is Socratic method. So you can foster critical thinking. There's also, you can use LLMs to role play, take on another persona and like talk with it and see things from somebody else's perspective and like get out of your mind and your regular way of thinking. So we'll talk about how our team uses this to make a good report from a product manager's perspective and not an engineer's. Yeah, so what am I talking about, this Socratic method? So I'll just kind of like read you the prompt. Like using the Socratic method, help me figure out how to best frame a solution for this problem. I have a microservice that runs slow on an I/O operation, creating a bottleneck. Notice we're not asking it for the answer, right? We're asking it to help us think about what the problem is. So understanding the problem, like try to identify the root cause. Like all this is going to help us better understand the problem, which in turn is going to make us have a better solution at the end. So this is really interesting, the kind of role-playing, talking to an LLM from a person from a different perspective. Marlon actually used this case to create a report. So he created a persona, which is Johnny, the product manager. So, hey, Johnny, I need your help to guide me to write a report on a benchmark of LLM models for Clojure programming language on different providers. We just did this. But for an upper management team, from your perspective, what are the most important points I should start focusing on? So again, not asking for the answer, but asking from your perspective, what are the things that are important to you? So, you know, things like objectives of benchmark, cost analysis, you know, give a structured report with a clear executive summary. And he took this information and he made this amazing like post in our Slack room, and our product manager was blown away. He was like, wow, can everybody make like reports like this? This is exactly the sort of information I need. So it was a really great communication tool that, you know, well, a lot of us think about like engineers, but being able to think like other personas is definitely helpful. So with that, this is the live demo part.
So let's try and go live. Okay. First, I would like to talk a little bit about open hands And if you guys are aware about the news in the AI world, there is a hot topic going on about autonomous agents using LLM for software development, and they are desperately claim that they are developing the software engineer. Well, not that much, but like I will say that is a software engineer. I say that would be at most like a very, very passionate student about coding. So you try very, very hard to solve the problem and generate a good code, but usually cannot be that much good. But it certainly is helpful, and given how fast things are evolving, we see a lot of value in this area. So OpenHands is one of these kinds of applications, and we have this nice interface that we have the chat interaction where we will interact with the agent. We have this area here that shows the files, and we can list these files and see these files here. We have an early stage experimental browser functionality, and we have a Python notebook that will show us what the model is trying to do and how it's trying to solve the problem. So for this demo, I will ask the agent to make a very simple data analysis on the iris data set using Clojure, and especially using the tablecloth library. And let's see how it goes. The first thing that this agent will try to do is come up with a plan about how to solve this problem, and at each step we'll try a set of actions to solve this stage and continuing developing. So we can see like, oh, first, I will download the iris dataset. The iris dataset has been successfully downloaded, and we can see all the progress here. And we have a message. Now I will add the dependency for the Clojure tablecloth to the deps.eden file and create a Clojure script called analysis.clj. Okay, and now I will write the Clojure code to load the iris dataset and perform a basic analysis using the tablecloth library. And I use info function to summarize this data. So let's see if it will be able to do this. Let me try to zoom a little bit more. Okay, I hope you guys can see better. So, okay, let's see. The analysis has been successfully performed, and the summary of the iris dataset is displayed. Here is the summary. And we have here in text, and we have the files here that we can open. I think still very, very very small here. Yes, but okay. We have the dataset is loading the dataset and making the summary. We have the deps.eden file here, correctly configured. And we have the iris dataset CSV file that has all the information. So it's very, very cool that we can use LLM for this kind of tasks right away, because there is not much time that, I don't know, ChatGPT 3.5 was released and all this started. And so it's a very, very cool project that I recommend you guys to check it out. And it's open source, it's hosted on the GitHub, and with a little bit of tricks you guys can make to load and generate Clojure code. It's very easy to do. And with that, we can go to do the recaps and takeaways. And these are the most important takeaways that I would like to give to you about this talk. And answering the initial question, do they work? Well, yes, and we see a lot of potential with LLMs for developers. And we also have the Clojure LLM benchmark. So if you guys want to try out and benchmark these different LLM models to see if they fit your use case for Clojure code generation, you can go and it can start benchmark right away. The third point that I would like to stick with you is when designing tools that use LLMs for engineers, do not try to solve the problem directly for them. This is a big learn that we have with Roxy. Create simple, flexible, and thin layer applications that allows the engineers to extend these tools and solve their problems because, well, we are here to solve problems and we know how to solve problems. So let's build tools that allows engineers to solve these problems. The fourth point is LLM can help get us better at thinking. And this is very important because these models can not do the task for us. This is not the best use of them. But we can use this model to leverage more we can do. Like we can solve even bigger problems, even complex problems. And we can bridge worlds, like for example, engineer and product manager, business and engineering. We can use these models to bridge these worlds and make things run smoothly. And for last but not least, always sit on the driver's seat and do not let the LLM do all the thinking for you. Do not outsource your thinking capacity, like never. Don't fall to this problem. And we're using LLMs to get better, to get the most out of you, and not the other way around. And with that, I would like to thank all of you for being here and for giving this presentation. We will not take answers, but if you have some questions, you can go directly to us, and we will happily answer your question. So thank you for being here.